How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Do me a huge favor. If you've never joined us for a Mentor Monday, this is a way that we always love to start. Jump inside the chat and let us know that you are here. Tell us where you are joining us from, what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on. We love to connect with you. What we always do on a Mentor Monday, we have a forward mission statement at Life Coach Training Institute. And it is proficient coaches, thriving practices. It's always unto that end. And we have been, and so anytime that you join us, we're always talking about how you can get clients and also how you can improve as a coach, which obviously is going to benefit you because that will also attract clients to you in the future. We want to see you get the best results that you can possibly get for your clients, which obviously is going to open the door for more business. But jump in and say hello. Reed is joining us from Chicago. Inez is joining us from Ottawa. Also, do me another big favor. Besides letting us know that you are here, like this post and share it. Preemptively do it. Here's what I can tell you. If you preemptively do it, that way you won't forget to do it later. What we always try to do on these is because it's that our end game is always helping our coaches. So here's the thing. If we don't do what we say we're going to do, you can always take your like back. But here's what I can tell you. If you've ever joined us on any week, you know that we always follow through and we do exactly what we say that we're going to do. So go ahead and hit that like button because it's going to be good. Dan's joining us from Indiana. Good to see you, Dan. And also, do me another big favor. We've been talking about CFQ over the last couple of weeks. If you have already taken CFQ and you know what your signature frequency is and your amplifier frequency, throw that into the comments as well. Go ahead and throw that in there. Put your signature first, then a little line, and tell us what your amplifier is. We'd love to know that. And you're like, what is that? I don't have that. We're going to tell you how you can do that. CFQ is a free assessment tool that we provide at Life Coach Training Institute. And actually, with the series that we are in right now, which is Built to Coach Different, we're really looking at those frequencies, helping you grab a hold of who you really are as a coach so that you can leverage that to do the most dynamic coaching that you can possibly do, as well as help your clients get the best results and attracting your clients to that frequency. So jump inside of the chat right now. You guys aren't doing it, or I'm 30 seconds ahead of you. Jump inside the chat, drop in your signature frequency and your amplifier frequency. Go ahead and do that for us so that I can recognize that. And also, let us know that you are here. Let's say that you haven't done that yet. Jump in, let us know that you are here. Tell us where you're joining us from and what you're excited about and what you feel life and momentum on. Again, throw your signature frequency and amplifier frequency in there. So we might as well jump into what we're talking about this week, which we're in this series called Built to Coach Different. We are in week 3. Now, the last couple of weeks, we've talked about what it means to find your signature frequency. And as I've said over the last couple of weeks, not to cover everything, because I can say you can go back in time and you can look at that. But one of the things that your signature frequency actually gives you, as we have learned, is your edge. Remember what I said before. We're not trying to help you become well-rounded. That really means that if you're trying to be well-rounded, you're sitting around trying to be someone that you're not. If you are well-rounded, what you're actually doing is that you are focusing all of your effort and time on something that you are not, as opposed to actually sharpening the things that you really are and that you might actually show the most talent and ability, and you're actually going to get your best results out of what is your edge. Last week, we talked about imposter syndrome and why so many coaches, and I'd say it's a contagion amongst coaches because coaches are some of the most brilliant people, some of the most learned people. One of the things that I find is a character quality of every coach is they are lifelong learners. And I will tell you this, be a lifelong learner. Always be learning new skills, always be learning new things, always be growing and developing as far as that's concerned. But here's the thing that I will say. You've still got to be who you are authentically. That's what's going to attract your ideal client. That's what's going to make you stand out amongst everybody else. It's also going to make you the happiest and most fulfilled because you are being your truest self. You're not trying to be somebody else. And here's the other thing is that your ideal client is looking for you. They're looking for your frequency. They're not looking for other frequencies because they're not really going to connect with that frequency. But at the same time that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, the strengths of being in your signature frequency, one thing that I can say this about your edge, and it's this, is that your edge actually cuts both ways, and we need to kind of understand that. Let me say, look at a couple of these. Dan says, my CFQ is I am a mirror and an architect. Lori from Houston says, I am a seer / mirror. That's really, really cool. And you're like, I have no idea what that is. We'll show you guys in just a moment how you can take CFQ and you can get the free mini course and the book and the guides and all of that stuff. It's all completely free, and it'll help you develop and have another aspect of understanding yourself, leveraging that, and being a dynamic coach. Again, if you guys would make sure that you are saying hello to us, you can throw that into the comments. So your coaching edge actually cuts both ways. And what I mean by that is that your coaching edge cuts both ways because the very thing that you can use to leverage to truly be authentic and to help you get those dynamic results. Remember what we said last week or the week before, conformity is where all dynamic coaching goes to die. And it's true because the more that people are conforming, they're actually keeping from being who they really are and getting the dynamic results that they could be getting because they're focused on all of these other things that they are not. But this week, what we want to understand is that sometimes that very edge that separates you, that helps you get those results, if you're not actually careful, that your edge, because again, it cuts both ways. Your edge could actually become a problem if you're not aware of what your ideal client is needing in the moment. That means that there's going to be a part of us. It does not mean that you are not going to be who you really are, and it doesn't mean that you're going to fake it, but you're going to have to understand how you need to hold space in that moment and actually leverage what that amplifier frequency is so that you can be who you need to be for your client in that moment. So let's jump into that really quick. And let me say hello really quickly to a couple of people who are saying hello to me. Tanya, who is saying, I'm an architect in a mirror. Really, really powerful duo right there. So let's jump in. Every strength has a shadow. And what I mean by that is that your signature frequency is your coaching edge. And again, we are embracing what your coaching edge is. But even the sharpest edge, if you do not handle it with care, can cut in the wrong direction. And so when your strength is used without awareness, without pacing, without presence, it can become distorted. And I'm not saying that it means your signature frequency is bad or anything else. I just say that sometimes it can be a little bit unbalanced. And this is not about fixing you today. I do not want you changing who you are. I don't want you being afraid of who you are or anything else. This is not about fixing you. It's about managing the dial inside you. Now, how can you tell when it may not be working? Now, granted, let me preface it like this. There are some people you are just not supposed to coach. And you'll learn that in the CFQ course. We actually look at your signature frequency and we say, these are probably going to be the kinds of people who are the best fit for your frequency. And then we're going to also say, this is your frequency. And these are going to be people over here that you should never coach. You should probably stay away from because it's not a good match. The frequencies don't really connect. Okay. So what my assumption is when you go through this process of consultation, when you are going through that process before someone becomes a client, you should have already, before you ever sit down with someone, You should have already done the legwork. You should have already done your homework on who your ideal client is. So CFQ, when you take it and you get inside of the course, then that can be one really big aspect that you look at, that you're like, okay, here's who my ideal client is. But you should know even more information than that. Like, here's a profile, but here's what their problem is. Here's what their personality type is. Here's what demographic they are. Like, there should be a lot of information that you should already know. For me, when I started out as a coach, I coached anybody who had two qualifications: they can pay for it and they have a pulse. So what ended up happening is that if you're only coaching people like that, that's when I started dawning on me that I could sign clients did not mean that I was working with the kinds of people that I should be working with. And I could tell a big difference, because I'd be dreading going and working with some people, and I'd come to life while I was working with others. There were some people that'd be like, man, this can't go by any slower than what it is right now. And then other people that I'd be working with, I'd be like, how did that time fly by? See, these are really good indicators that you're actually sitting across from the person that you should be sitting across from and working with. We don't just coach people who have money and who have a pulse. And I had no one talk to me about a coaching niche or any of those things. That's why I'd say you really need to do that work. We do have I believe it's a 7-part series on discovering your niche. It's on our YouTube, it's on our website. Go find it. Just type in the word niche, you'll find it. And I give you a lot of questions to help you sort through and to really know what that profile is. So everything that I'm saying, why did I just say all that? Because if something's not working, I'm assuming that you've done your homework and you're sitting across from the right person. That means in most cases, that means that your frequency is working with that person. You've attracted that person with your frequency. So this is not your first session or two, and you're like, okay, we're clashing here. No, if that's happening, then you didn't do your work before you got in front of that person. So let's imagine that we've coached someone, we've attracted like attracts like, that frequency matches, and and that client's a perfect fit for me. I'm a perfect fit for them. But in the process of coaching someone, maybe months down the road or something like that, something kind of kicks in and happens. And you notice that your client is kind of giving shorter responses. You notice their body language starts to be a little bit closed off. You can notice that the energy is not responding to your energy, or they seem confused, they seem stuck, or they seem resistant. And you feel like you are pushing or dragging the client instead of actually partnering with them. These are things that I would say are your early warning signs that your strength may actually be overpowering, or it's mismatching, or it's simply not what's needed in the moment. What does the shadow side look like? Well, if you are a mirror, and mirrors are amazing at holding space. You are so good. My mirrors in the room. And I would say this is that about half of coaches are mirrors as their signature frequency. So I know that I'm talking to a lot of mirrors right now. Listen, it is amazing that you can tune into people's emotions, that you are dialed in and you are connected there. But see, what the shadow side of that is that you might forget to challenge or push a client when it's actually needed. So we can be so dialed in and just letting them just like, okay, unpack and go deep and tell me more about that, and holding space, that they're not actually taking action. And so what we end up doing is that we enable them to stay where they are. We might actually enable them to get stuck when what do they need? They actually need a push. They actually need to take action. And so this is the shadow side of being a mirror, is that you've got to be aware, because this is what I always tell our coaches. If a client is not taking action and there's no accountability for action, then coaching's not actually taking place, because we've got to take movement. Now, you movers, I am one of those people. I'm a mover. We are probably the smallest representative group in the room if our signature is a mover, because movers are catalytic people. It's not the typical wiring of a coach. And what brings us to life and what we love is momentum. We love pushing action. We love being catalytic. We're excited. We want to see change. We want to see something happen. And that's why we're showing up to work. And sometimes with all that energy, sometimes with all that excitement, we're so pushy and we're so about taking action and them taking movement that maybe my client's not sitting there in that spot. They may need someone who holds space, who actually is able to read the room. This is what I would say for all of you. We have to be people who actually read the room to know where the client is at any given point. So movers, we can bulldoze the client. We can rush them before they're actually ready. Now, you anchors in the room, and I would say that as far as the signature is concerned, that a lot of you are anchors. I'd say that's probably the second largest group of signature frequencies in the room. And so, what will happen with anchors is that your shadow side means that you might be passive. You are so good at grounding the client, but sometimes clients need fire. They don't need stillness. They need to actually get ignited and moved on. A couple of other frequencies. Architects. That's a pretty small group of people in the room. If that is your signature, but it might be, you might find it as your amplifier. You know what architects might be? Because they're so process oriented. Listen, you architects, you bring brilliant structure, but the problem is that architects can end up leading the session instead of the client. And so, again, what I've always said is that who you were before you became a coach is who you're always going to be. Your frequency is always present in that. So some of you process oriented kinds of people, you've been so good at doing that for so long that a lot of times you don't even need somebody's help to do it. So if your client comes in and they're not engaged and they're not feeling it or whatever, you might be like, well, let me take the lead this session. And then you find out that you're taking the lead a couple of sessions. Listen, coaching's client centered. It's not coach centered. So this is the shadow side for you architects. And then finally, you seers in the room. I know there's at least one person in the room that is your signature style. That means that you might actually, as a shadow side, be distant or very cryptic. What do I mean by that? Well, you're used to seeing what other people don't see. And that can be kind of intangible. If you don't ground your insight, your client might feel lost or misunderstood. And so this is what the shadow side looks like for all of these different things. What does that mean? What does that mean for us? Well, I don't want you overthinking everything. So again, my end game today is not to say, forget your edge, do something different. Oh, this isn't going to work for you or whatever. You can't be who you are or whatever. I'm saying you got to read the room and you got to be aware. Even somebody like me who's like catalytic, let's go get change. Let's get a whole lot of work done. Let's just go crazy or whatever. We have to read the room because it's client centered. And we're also thinking about in every time that we're working with clients, how does who I am and what we are doing provide a structure so that the client gets breakthroughs, they get clarity, and that they're moving forward. So rather than you guys overthinking about it, here's 3 steps to coaching with self-awareness. One is you've got to notice your autopilot because we all have default moves. So pay attention when you lean too hard on your go-to approach, especially when you are under pressure. So sometimes if things don't seem like they are clicking with a client, there might be a tendency for us to go with, oh, I know this works and I'm going to really dig into my style. Again, I would say that's not reading the room. So pay attention to what your autopilot is. 2, check the client, not your ego. What I mean by that is just a simple question. Is your style serving them right now? What do they need in this moment? Again, I'm not even going to go here with these questions unless I see that the client is struggling with how I'm coaching them and how I'm showing up. What do they need in this moment in terms of support, in terms of structure, or do they need challenge, or do they need space? See, all of those things are actually strengths of the different coaching frequencies: support, structure, challenge, and space. 3, use your amplifier. We'll talk more about amplifier probably next week and how that really shows up. Know this is that you're not stuck. If your signature frequency isn't landing, then you have a backup mode that can meet the moment. So let's think about how this might work together. If I am like, let's get things going, yeah, and I'm, mover, mover, mover. Well, what if my signature style is mover? What if my amplifying style is actually to be an anchor, or if it's to be a mirror? Well, I'm going to leverage that amplifier to hold space if that's what's actually needed in that moment. Again, what is the amplifier? Well, it's the second drawer, it's the middle drawer. It's not what's right here, but it's accessible and it's something that I can leverage. For some of you who are architect, yeah, process, let's get things done or whatever, they're not feeling it. Well, then I can leverage something else. I can leverage what that amplifier style is. Again, you're not stuck. All of us have something that's in our back pocket that we can be able to leverage that is still being authentically to who we are. But again, it's all about reading the room and knowing what our clients need. Final thought: your edge is what sets you apart. Mastery isn't knowing your strength, it's knowing how to wield it like a sword. Because why? Because it cuts both ways. So you want to stay aware, stay flexible, and your coaching won't just be powerful, it'll be transformational. If you want to learn more about what the 5 frequencies are: mover, anchor, architect, mirror, and seer, here's how you can do that. You can discover your frequency free. What is inside of the 5 frequencies of coaching is that we have the CFQ assessment. You'll be able to find out what your signature frequency is, and you'll also be able to find out what your amplifier frequency is as well. I've got a 40+ page book for you that unpacks and digs even deeper into the different frequencies. And for each one of your frequencies, we have a implementation guide. Because how can you actually leverage who it is that you are? So there's a guide that goes, it's short, it's a quick reference. We also have a coaching in your frequency video series. So we have multiple videos, and I've made a video for each frequency, as well as talking about what does amplifier mean and all of those other things. If you've not taken the free CFQ assessment, you can go to ilifecoachtraining.com/CFQ, or you can just text the letters CFQ to 833-258-7547. That will bring you to the link to enroll. Please, if you have a student account, please don't create a new student account. Just use your existing student account, and you can just add that on to as a free course and be able to jump in and really benefit from this training. Now, for those of you who have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, let me pay the bills really quick. Our Life Coach certification course is completely self-paced, with additional live Tuesday night coach training where you can ask your questions, you can connect with other coaches, and you can get support. Our curriculum breaks down into 7 sessions: foundations of coaching, the anatomy of a dynamic coaching session, how to listen on a transformational level. We have 2 sessions on that. How to help your clients get extraordinary results. That is all about goal setting and accountability. How to ask powerful questions, and how to establish a growing coaching practice. Session 7 shows you how to put things together so that you actually can become a 6-figure coach. Now, this course also comes with live coaching practice with feedback, because every few weeks we shut everything down and we just focus on training night. So you'll just join by Zoom, and we'll have a practice coach and practice client. We'll let them go at it, and then we give them feedback at the end of it. Every one of our sessions concludes with live Q&As. So if you have any questions at any given point, you can always join us on Tuesday nights and get those questions answered. But every one of these modules are self-paced. Here's what we did out of the gate. Something that's true is that if you want to do something that nobody else has done, you have to do things that nobody else is doing. That's what we did back in 2014. Life Coach Training Institute was born out of the need for coaches to not have to take off from work to go somewhere to get trained because nobody was doing online training back then. And not only that, but we also wanted to make coach training affordable. And it's ridiculous to charge people so much money that you have to hire a sales team. If you wonder why coach training costs so much, it's because half of that money is going to sales teams. If you didn't know that, that's who's getting half of your money from any other school, is it's going to a sales team. So what we did is that we did go fully online with our entire program. It is also self-paced, so you can set your own schedule. And we also made training affordable. But not just that, is that we have a robust curriculum that literally gives you everything that you need at a price that you can afford. There's 30 hours of training. There's a live Tuesday night coach training. There are live Q&As and role playing. You also can connect with other coaches, find homework buddies, find support, accountability. You're also going to have an onboarding document that has your entire welcome pack already created for you, but it's fully editable and it's fully brandable. You also are going to get a coaching tool starter pack. You're also going to get a free listing on our Life Coach directory, lifecoachmatch.com. And yes, you will be earning your certificate. The cost for all of these things is not extraordinary. It's only $195. Why is it so affordable? For everything that we just said, the fact that we have made that choice, and also that we are sales commission free. We want to make this decision for you, even though we can say that the value of this program is $3,500. Listen, when it's priced that affordably, you don't need a sales team and you don't really need a second thought. If you're still debating on this thing with this price tag on it, I don't know that you can ever become a coach. You're not convinced yet. You're still in process. And if you're still in process, hey, that's awesome. Get inside of our free Life Coach training course. Join us on Monday nights. Get as much encouragement as you possibly can. Maybe three months, 6 months, or a year down the road, then you're going to talk yourself into it instead of allowing whatever is going on in here talk you out of it. Because we've made it as affordable as we possibly can so that it is easier for you to say yes to it. There's a link inside the description of this video, and you can get enrolled in about 90 seconds. You can even join us tomorrow night for week 1 of this cohort. Now, for those of you who are like, dude, I am not doing self-paced and I am not doing that week by week thing, here's your ticket. I know a lot of you are like, man, procrastination's the thing that just kind of kills me. And I need to have a get her done kind of program. This is what this is. Saturday, July 19th is our next one-day Life Coach Certification Training Accelerator. What's different about this program is the price is the same, $195, but what we've done is we've made it simulive. This is 12 hours of training. What we've done is that we have cut out all the fat. We have kept all of the good stuff. And in that 12-hour training, you can knock out all of your Life Coach certification training out of the way in terms of the lecture and everything else. You're still going to get everything that we talked about in terms of onboarding documents. You're going to get the coaching tool starter kit. You're going to get question samples. You're going to get your Life Coach certification and certificate. You're also going to get access to bonus live Tuesday night coach training. And it's the same sessions. It's just presented simulive. So you're going to go for an hour, get a 15-minute break, go for an hour, 15-minute break, and that's the way that it goes. You're not on your own. You can always come back and reconnect with us on Tuesdays if there's anything that's unclear, and you can get live the latest version of the training. Again, this is a $3,500 value. The cost is only $195. With all of these things that we offer in terms of our program, we have really thought about who our coaches are. Can we make this affordable? Can we make this fit into your schedule? And we have a schedule and we have a price point that can fit every one of you. And the other thing is that live Tuesday night coach training is always ongoing. So if you ever need to jump in a live session on a Tuesday night and personally ask me questions, then you can do that. If you're looking for support in community, you can always connect with other coaches who are part of the program. They are wide open, willing, able, and some of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life that you can connect with. And so I'm going to highly encourage you. Click the link inside the description of this video, get enrolled, and let's get on with this journey of your calling. Well, listen, I'm going to get off of here. I am going to send this into replay mode. But listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week and take care.